you miss me, baby? I can make you weak.
Hello, my darling divas of YouTube world. Thank you for joining me again, the prettiest of the pretty problems of the world. But no, seriously though. Okay. So anyway, we're gonna get these eyeshadow looks together today, okay? So I'm gonna do this eyeshadow combination just to show you how I place my eyeshadows in different spots, what they're called, kind of get used to the terminology, and just give you some pointers on my do's and don'ts, because everybody's do's and don'ts are different. So like I said again, so hopefully you will like this video and thumbs up and subscribe, and join me on my next video, whatever that may be. So stay tuned for the tutorial if you would like to see how I got this eye look.
You miss me, baby. I can make you weak.
Okay, so first things first, to start off any eye look, you're gonna want to start with a good primer. So the primer that I use is e.l.f. It's by e.l.f. It's $1, but it actually works really well. Primer acts as a shield between your eye and the shadow. It basically prevents your shadow from creasing. It's like $1 and it's pretty good. After the primer, usually I like to take a base. And a base, I like to use this MAC paint pot. It's called Painterly. And it looks like this. Basically, the paint pot is going to help your colors to show up better, and it's going to also prevent your shadows from creasing. So I just take it with my finger and apply it to my lid. More concentrated on the bottom portion, but I will blend it up towards my eyebrow. So after I put on my base, I'm going to use this new Too Faced palette. It's called Semi Sweet Chocolate Bar, and it smells really good. It smells like chocolate. You can mix and match and create different looks. Palettes like this I really love because pretty much any color combination in the palette are gonna complement each other. I also would recommend, especially if you're just starting out, small Wet n Wild palettes. You just have to know where to place the colors, and usually the Wet n Wild ones are good about writing where each of the colors are intended, but even though they write it, you can still pretty much do whatever it is that you want with the colors. So with this eye, I started off with a color called Peanut Butter. I take that color with a blending brush. This is my 224 blending brush from MAC, and I'm going to use that color and put it on the top part of my eyebrow. And what this is going to do is going to make a soft transition from your eyebrow down to the color. So you want to start out by prepping your eyebrow. The next color that I used is called Truffle. So I took that on a 217 brush from MAC, but you just want to take a brush that's wide and kind of thin, but it's also good for blending. And I take it right into my crease. Now your crease part of your eyebrow is, if your eye was a little bit sunken in, it would be the part that has a shadow. So it's right here between your mobile lid, the actual part of your eye that moves, and your eyebrow bone. Take it here, and I usually like to start on the outer corner, because you can always have a little bit heavier on the outer corner. And I'm using this brush very, very lightly, and I'm just gonna pull it right into that crease area, so it kind of creates a fake shadow. So see, you can see now that I have this line here, and it looks like my eye is sunken in. So I'll just take this brush and make sure, very softly, I'm doing this very softly, just make sure that these two colors, this peanut butter and the truffle, blend nicely. And when you see that hard line right there, you see how you have the peanut butter and the truffle? I always like to go back with this brush and just kind of feather it out, so it doesn't have such a hard, distinct line. And I'm going to put a little bit more of the truffle in. You want this to be a nice, good, deep color to give you that that deep effect. Next thing that I'm going to take is a flat shader brush. This is your typical eyeshadow brush. It's flat, it's kind of compact, and it's just good for placing color. I use a color called Rum Raisin. With colors that have some type of shimmer in it, I personally like to wet my brush, so you can either use some Fix Plus from MAC or you can use some water. Don't saturate your brush, you just want to kind of dampen it. So this just really helps the color to stand out a little bit more. So I'm going to go into that Rum Raisin and I'm going to literally pat it onto the bottom part of my lid. And what this is called is your mobile lid. So that's the part of your lid that moves up and down when you blink. I'm just going to pat it, and I'm going to keep packing on that color until the color looks about how I want it. Now, I usually like to put an outer V color, and this is going to be a darker color, so its darker piece is going to give the eye a little bit more definition on the outer part. So for this part, I'm going to take this color called Hot Fudge, and I'm going to take the same 217 brush, tap it in there, and I'm going to be very light on the corner because this is a darker color, so you don't want to put too much and have it come off too heavy. So right in that outer V. Okay, I'm gonna go back with this 224 brush and blend again. I'm gonna kind of marry all of the colors together. So now you kind of want to make sure that your two eyes look similar. I know that looks crazy. I'm gonna wipe that away. So now for the eyeliner. The eyeliner is a little bit tricky, and it takes a lot of practice to get your eyeliner right, especially for a wing liner. So I am taking a small angled brush, very thin, very small angled. It's pretty hard bristled, and I'm going to use my Wet n Wild liner. So what I usually do is hold my eye down and start in the middle. That's just how I do it, just to kind of get a baseline of what I'm doing. Then I'll pull it from the beginning. Okay, and then on the outer corner, I usually will start without holding my eye, really softly, and pull it back in. And pull it straight over. Okay, and if you see some of it is messed up here, you really want to take it softly. Then fill it in. And you don't have to go as far out. So now that we have on our liner, it's time for mascara. And I'm just using some L'Oreal Voluminous. This is one of my favorite mascaras from the drugstore. And you want to put your mascara on kind of in a V motion. And basically this helps the product to get on. Oh, you don't want to poke yourself in the eye now. That's what you don't want to do. But you do want to work it on both sides of the lash. Okay, now we have to do the bottom of the eye. So you kind of want to recreate the top of the eye on the bottom just so that it flows together. So what I'm going to do is take a small blending brush and I'm going to go back in with this peanut butter. And I'm just going to run it across the bottom just like we did the transition on the top. Oops. Then I'm going to take our same shader brush and run it back in the Rum Raisin. Really, you can take a smaller brush for this, but let's see how big this is. I'm just gonna put it right in the front portion. Then I'm going to take a small pencil brush. I'm gonna go into that truffled, work the middle of my eyebrow. I mean my lower lash, and then I'm gonna take the Hot Fudge right here and work the outer portion. You never want to forget the bottom of your eye. I'm going to go back with this 217 brush and then just kind of marry these things together. everything. So now after that, I'm going to take a pencil liner. This is a black pencil, Smolder by MAC. You can take any black pencil. Line the bottom of your eyes. Go back in with your pencil brush and smudge it out. Okay. I'm a lash girl because I don't have much lashes, so I'm going to put on the top lashes and I'm going to put some mascara on my bottom lashes, and then I'll be right back. So this is the finished look after the lashes have been applied and the mascara. Now, a few pointers that I would like to mention is if you're oily, like me, I'm oily, so I don't necessarily like to use shimmer on the top of my eyebrow because I feel like after I start getting oily later, that's one of my oily spots. So I mean, you can if you want to. It does give a little bit more of a glam look. Another thing is to highlight the inner tear ducts right in here. Now my crease, I like to keep it matte. Like I like to have a matte crease color because, like I said again, too much shimmer, especially if you're oily, you can become like a grease ball after a while. So I try to stay away from the shimmer. And also the outer V, I like to stay matte with that as well. Another tip is, generally speaking, especially when you first start out with playing around with shadows, you don't want to do too much. Too much means that you have bright eyes and bright lips. That's doing too much, girlfriend. Okay, gonna have to take one step at a time. So you're gonna want to do a soft eye and then a pop of color on your lip, or vice versa. Now this look, I had some new red lipstick, and I just really wanted to play with it. I really don't do red lipstick too much, but if I do red lipstick, usually all I'll do is a wing liner and maybe something to outline my crease. But with this, I think it kind of works with it, this look. So this is nice for something like Valentine's Day or a night out on the town. So I will list everything that I have used down in the description bar. And hopefully, you know, you learned something from this. You can kind of play around with your different eyeshadows. Don't be afraid to play with color and just try different things. But this is a general sense of what goes where on your eyes. So you have it's blending is the key. Also your tools, your brushes make a difference. So MAC brushes are great and everything, and I'm gonna let you finish, you know, but they're not the best of all times. Like there's a lot of different companies that make more affordable brushes. Morphe is a company, Sigma is a company, Real Techniques you can get from Walmart, and these are all great quality brushes. So you just have to kind of play around with different brushes. Coastal Scents have some great brushes as well, and they're really affordable. So you play around with the different kind of brushes, and don't think that you have to go get a MAC brush in order for your shadows to come out looking decent, because that's definitely not the case. In the beginning, you're gonna mess up a lot because we all do. So you just have to try again. You take a picture, you see how it looks, and try to improve on the next time when you do it. So hopefully you like this look, and hopefully you enjoyed this tutorial, and please let me know if there's anything else that you would like me to cover or you'd like me to talk about if you have troubles with certain things. And do not forget to thumbs up this video and subscribe. So until my next video, you guys, bye.